I watched the first Lord of the Rings for the first time ever.
Hi, welcome to the Vaguely Anime Podcast. I am one of the hosts this afternoon, Michael, followed by other host, Sage.
Hi.
You only just watched Lord of the Rings for the first time?
Yeah.
The first one? You didn't even watch all of them? You got to marathon that shit. You got to commit.
Well, I didn't know I was going to watch it, so I wasn't...
Was it the theatrical or extended?
Extended, because that was I mean, they had the theatrical on HBO as well, but I was like, oh, it's extended, so maybe I'll just get more context, and then I don't have to, like, do any outside work to, like, get this context. So the other night, we were watching TV, and then... Oh, no, I started my, like... I was doing ideas and sketches for my avatar painting that I want to do, and then I think we were watching something else, and then... I was seeing what we could watch, and Mark was like, oh, you would like Lord of the Rings. Like, it's some nerd shit that you'd be into. And I was like, oh, you know, I've never watched them before. He's like, oh, you should totes my goats watch it. So I put on the first movie, and I was like, this movie is 4 fucking hours long. Are you for real right now?
Version?
Jesus Christ. So, but the thing is, I couldn't marathon it because I started the movie at like 7 p.m.
Ah, see, rookie mistake.
Like...
These are marathoning movies.
I didn't know that I had to like watch them in consecutive order.
People make them Thanksgiving movies. That way they can just, every Thanksgiving they sit down and watch all of them.
I see.
I do have a potential hot take. Not actually, I don't think it's potential. I think people would take it as a hot take that the extended editions are good for certain things, but I think a majority of the case, I would rather watch the theatrical cut than the extended. Because the important scenes that they cut out of the theatrical, obviously very important in the extended because it adds a lot of context for certain things.
Right.
But general pacing, I think, is much better in the theatrical.
So I was actually going to ask about this because the Mark has, I think, seen them before, but I think he's watched them like when they first came out kind of thing.
Right, because he's old.
Or like on DVD or something. Yes, because he's old. So he doesn't have any like real memory except for like the major plot beats of like what's going on.
Right.
So in the extended version versus I guess the theatrical release, like the extended one, it had like a super, super, super long opening narration.
Mm-hmm.
Which I don't know this to be true, but it felt like it went on for like at least 30 minutes.
Okay.
Of like backstory.
Right.
Before we even get to like, oh, now Bilbo Baggins has the ring and it's like slowly consuming him, right?
Right.
So in the theatrical version, does it have that super long-winded narration?
I don't remember. I don't
Because
think
at
it's
first,
as long, no.
Because at first I was like, oh, this is nice. Some background. And then the background just kept going and going and going. And I was like, damn. This is a lot of information that I feel like is pretty important.
I mean, to be fair, Lord of the Rings is dense.
And then the other thing was we were watching it. Finally, they're like, okay, this will be the Fellowship of the Ring. And I paused the movie right on that line. I was like, it took them an hour and 40 minutes to start fellowshipping. What the fuck? Why is this so long?
You want to know a fun fact? The only line Legolas ever says to Frodo, and it's by proxy, is "you have my bow." That's it. They never speak a one word to each other.
Why? They're like walking around in a group. That's weird.
Yep. There's also a really funny bit. I'm not gonna say it. I'm gonna wait for you to watch it all.
Okay.
But when you do, there's also a funny bit about the ending too.
Oh, also because I've never watched Lord of the Ring before.
Lord of the Ring. The Ring.
Sorry. Because I've never watched these movies before, I also have like no context for anything, and I think I've only ever seen one spoiler from it, or maybe I've seen others and I just don't know that they're spoilers because again I have no context for it. I guess spoiler for Lord of the Rings if you're as behind on trends as I am.
I fucking hope you're not.
But what's the guy's name?
Boy.
The wizard?
Gandalf,
thank you. So when he dies, I like knew he was gonna die because I've seen that clip online just
Yeah,
floating
you shall
around.
not pass.
Yeah, forever.
Fly, you fools.
I don't know why, but I thought that would be like way later in the movie or like in a later movie. So I was like, oh, he dies so early. It's kind of underwhelming.
They lose their guide and their most powerful ally immediately. It's a big deal.
I know, and
because
then
they fight a Balrog.
and then Sean Bean fucks off and dies, and some other
Yeah, but
guys die.
It's Sean Bean. You
Like
should've
half
known
their
he was
team
gonna
gets
die.
fucking annihilated in 3 seconds.
Yeah, the Fellowship of the Ring lasts for a solid week.
And then I think like
Not even,
I
actually.
think the movie ends where like Frodo and Sam are like, all right, let's just canoe our asses out of here.
Yep.
Which, okay, I think I know this to be true, but does Sam betray him at some point? Frodo, I mean. I don't know why. In my brain, this is like a thing that exists. Or am I wrong?
Do you want me to answer that?
I guess not. I'm not sure. Like, I feel like I'm right, but I also, again, have no context to know if I'm actually right.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like I know that to be true. And it's a whole thing. But that must happen in the next movie or the third movie. Who knows? Not me.
Okay, so they technically are the Fellowship for 70 days. Technically, the whole journey takes 70 days.
I get it.
But yeah, they're like, we are the Fellowship of the Ring. Anyway, they've gone their own way. We'll go do our part.
Also, the whole, like, the ring corrupts you and never put the ring on. This bitch puts that ring on, like, every 5 seconds.
No, I mean, Frodo is like, special. It's the same reason Bilbo could have the ring.
For so long.
Yeah, because hobbits are just so pure.
Yeah, that's what Mark was saying.
Yeah.
But then even Bilbo, like, started losing it. But I guess he also had it for, like, way longer.
Like 100 and something years. He was the oldest.
Yeah, it was his 111th birthday.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's because hobbits are just so pure.
Gotcha.
It's very hard to corrupt them. It still affects him.
Right.
Which is evident through the movie. But it is just harder to corrupt, whereas man, elf, whatever, are very easily, like, they have...
Tempted.
Yeah.
Oh, also,
you will have a dark queen.
Yeah, that whole thing with Kate Blanchett, and she was like, oh, I passed the test. I was like, damn, girl, chill out.
Yeah, but she's hot.
Yeah, oh my God. Her and Liv Tyler as the fairies, because I never watched them before, but I always saw, like, especially the fairies. The elves.
I was like, the fucking fairies.
I knew fairies was wrong, but don't they just look beautiful? Like,
I mean, yeah, but elves are supposed to look beautiful.
I know, but
elves are supposed to be like
the most beautiful,
the perfection of this look and live forever.
Which is really funny because all the girl elves, hot.
Oh yeah,
gorge. Boy elves, minus Orlando Bloom, fucking ugly. Like the Agent Smith, like king elf.
How dare you?
Fucking ugly.
How
that hair looks terrible on him.
you.
I'm like, you look so old. This is not a cute look for you. I'm very sorry. You look better in The Matrix. In my humble yet correct opinion.
How dare you?
It makes him look worse. And he's not like an
Hugo Weaving is iconic.
Okay, he looks bad with that hair. Like, that doesn't diminish the iconicness.
Shame on you.
Like, what do you want me to say?
Shame on you.
It's like The Rock. He looks better without hair. He looks stupid with that fucking buzz cut.
Yeah,
and then he realized he looked better bald. Bye.
Yeah. Except whenever they bring back the fanny pack thing as a bit.
Exactly.
And then they put the hair on him.
Exactly. But that was a different time.
Yeah. The Rock is a heel now.
That's good or bad?
So in
that's
wrestling
a villain,
terms,
right? Face is hero.
Yep. Face is the hero.
Wait, he's back in wrestling?
Yeah, he came back a little while ago. And now he owns a piece of WWE.
Wait, isn't there like a bunch of drama going on with Vince McMahon right now? Isn't he in like a huge lawsuit?
Yeah, he got kicked out. Triple H now runs the company.
Kicked out of his own company.
Yeah.
LOL.
Triple H now runs WWE.
Oh.
And it's really funny because people are like, you should come back and fight The Rock. And he's like, no, I'm old.
He is old.
I don't want to break anything. Like, because he stopped because he was just he had too many injuries. Like, he just couldn't really do it anymore. So
Vince McMahon?
No.
Oh, The
Triple
Rock.
H.
Oh, wait, who's Triple H?
Another.
Hulk Hogan?
No, it doesn't matter.
Wait, was he in WWE?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
He was Triple H. That was his thing.
Hulk Hogan.
No. Different person. Hulk Hogan doesn't matter.
Oh,
Has not
okay.
mattered in a very long time.
I'm sorry. I don't know.
Take him out of your
I don't know
mind.
anything about wrestling. I only know The Rock, John Cena, Batista, which I always forget he did wrestling. And then John Cena's like now ex-girlfriend who he treated very poorly.
Well, yeah, but she also like wanted a kid, right? And he never wanted
She
one.
wanted to get married and have kids,
Yeah.
and he didn't. Which I'm like, damn, that should have been a conversation y'all had a long time ago.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we
but
talked about
also, like, I remember watching, I think it was called, like, Total Divas or something. It was, like, a reality show on E about, like, the girls of WWE. It was fine as a reality show. The girls look great. They're so muscular. I'm like, just snap my neck. Just do it. I volunteer.
Right.
And it was like about their day-to-day and boyfriends and husbands and blah, blah, blah. Who cares? But anyway, John Cena was also on the show because he was dating one of the twins. And every time they were together, he looked like he literally could not care less. Like, he looked so unhappy all the time. Like, he was not into it in this relationship with her. I'm like, why are you together? Just break up. Like, you're not married. It's not like you have any, like, legal binding to this person, you know? Like, your money's tied up with them. Just break up with her if you're unhappy. But he, like, strung her along for years on end. And finally, she broke up with him because she was like, I told you from day one that I want to get married and settle down and have kids. And you have not fulfilled on that end. And I need that in my life to be happy.
Yeah. Oh, he's married.
John Cena got married?
Uh-huh.
Stop it. That's actually such a slap in the face.
Shay. I cannot pronounce that name.
Let me see.
I could take a guess, but I would butcher the fuck out of it, so.
Yeah, I also cannot pronounce that, but I am so thoroughly surprised.
They've been married for 3 years.
Wow.
Since 2020.
Wow. What irony.
She is hot.
Could you imagine if she starts popping out some kids?
I mean, maybe he didn't want kids then. It could be different now. He's 35.
Yeah, that's total.
Life's changed.
He has to be more than 35.
Oh, no, she is 35.
I was going to say John Cena is at least like 45, maybe pushing 50.
She is 35, Iranian.
How old is John Cena?
Let's find out.
I was going to say 35. In what world?
I just saw age and I forgot that I was
You were
looking
just
at
like,
her.
yeah, we'll put two and two together.
He's 46.
Ooh, what did I say? 45 is my low? That was pretty close.
Yeah, I mean, things could change, but he also might just not want kids.
Honestly, as somebody who doesn't want kids, I completely understand not wanting kids. I personally would not put myself in a relationship or long-term relationship with a partner that
She is very pretty.
that does want kids because that's just going to end up badly in the long run. Like, what's the point, you know?
Yeah, bro. You know when you like see those pictures of like when the stars are like coming off a plane and they very clearly don't give a shit about their looks.
Right.
This girl still looks hot.
Get it.
Good for her.
Get it.
Good for him.
Good for him.
Good for both of them. Yeah. I mean, you know.
But yeah, anyway, the thing I actually wanted to talk about, which wasn't Lord of the Rings or WWE, I just mentioned Lord of the Rings right before we started recording, and Mike was so shocked.
I'm like, it's both shocking and not shocking because it's you. But like,
I could understand why you would be surprised that I didn't watch it because it does seem like something that would be up my alley.
right. Like, it's just one of those things that I feel like at some point in a childhood you have sat down and watched.
I don't
Lord of
know.
the
It's
Rings.
just something I never like gravitated towards or had any like real interest in. And
Well, final rating. Did you like it?
your first movie?
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was a good movie. I think it looks incredible. I think this came out in 2001?
Mm-hmm.
This movie coming out in 2001 looks better than movies coming out now. Like, and the scale of this movie is so insanely huge. Like, this world feels extremely real, extremely lived in. I'm honestly impressed. Like, I'm curious on what kind of budget they had for this movie, because
Keep talking.
every single location you go to, there's so many people, there's so many details. Like, they could have so easily just done things like room to room, you know, but they made everything feel so realistic, at least within like the setting of the world, but also like all the conflicts and interpersonal like politics felt very real as well, which I really liked. The costumes are really great. I love the designs of things. Like the tower that Ganon, is that his name? The wizard goes and gets like trapped on. Like, that looked really cool. And like the orc designs look great. It's just, everything looks so good and so high. Like, honestly, maybe because it did come out in 2001, because like even like Harry Potter movies, right, where I think the Harry Potter movies still look really good today, but you can notice with some of the older ones that like the limitation of technology, right? So even though it still looks fantastic, you can tell, okay, this is the most they could do with it.
Yeah.
But I feel like with Lord of the Rings, and maybe because they did have like a few years further ahead than Harry Potter did in terms of like their first couple of movies.
Was the first one in the 90s?
Yeah, isn't the first one 97?
No.
I think so. But yeah, no, this movie looks unbelievably good. I think, like, even if I didn't like it, which I did enjoy it.
2001.
The first Harry Potter movie was 2001.
No way that first movie came out when we were born.
I thought it was older than that.
It's a 2001 film directed by Chris Columbus.
Oh, I knew it was directed by Chris Columbus.
The novel came out in 97.
Oh, maybe that's what I'm thinking of. Wait, the first novel came out in 97?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, because she was still writing them. That makes sense. Okay.
And Fellowship was also 2001, so same year.
That's crazy. Because I think Fellowship holds up even better than Harry Potter, to be completely honest. Yeah, I think I like this movie. I am definitely going to watch the other two movies. Although Mark wants me to watch Rings of Power, which is the Amazon show.
I watched the movies first.
What? No, I'm obviously going to watch the movies first for the context.
I haven't seen the show, but I did not hear great things.
I also didn't hear great things, but Mark says it's really good. But Mark also has
bad takes.
I've realized it's not that he has bad taste. He just has extremely low standards.
That's like me with Marvel today.
So
where I'm just like, yeah, this is still a 4. And people are like, what? And I'm like, I had fun.
Yeah. So Mark, if he doesn't fall asleep, if he's slightly intrigued and or entertained, it's considered good. If it's above that slight level, it's really good. So I can't really trust his word on something being really good because he has no standards. But it's weird. He does know when things are really bad. But I guess really bad like is kind of unavoidable, you know? Mm-hmm. Like no matter how low your standards are.
Right.
Something
like me, Eamon, and Anthony trying to go see Madam Web at some point.
Yeah, I was thinking about going to see that. Mark wanted to see it over the weekend. But I was like, yeah, I don't know like how interested I am in it, and
it's
like
gonna be horrible.
Yeah, so I saw some like stuff popping up online about it, and I was like, oh, this could be. But then again, everyone and their mother was complaining about the Marvels being bad, which like
no, this is a different thing.
Oh, this is another level.
This is every reviewer that and like comic fan and stuff that I follow all have been like, this movie is so awful. Not even awful, it's fun. It's so bad you should see it for just to realize how fucking awful it is.
Wow.
Yeah. It's funny though, because everyone's like, casting wise, really good. Costumes, really good for the 5 seconds they're in them.
Great.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, I heard that the costumes, like the spider suits, are like non-existent.
Yeah.
Which, what is the fucking point?
I don't know. I plan on seeing it at some point. Hopefully, me, Eamon, and Anthony can find a time that lines up. But Anyway,
This is gonna sound really bad, but I'll wait for it to come onto Disney Plus.
I mean, no, that's fine. You like really. We were gonna go originally. Like we all had time in the first week, but we were all like, we don't want to give this movie money in the first week.
In their opening,
Yeah.
like gross amount.
We don't want to make them think that they deserve this. Which is really funny because there's so many compilations of what's her name,
Dakota Johnson.
Yeah, just being uncaring during the entire press release. Like she knew this movie was gonna be fucking awful, and she just took some money for it and like hates her life on the entire
Dakota
interview.
Johnson is so. I think after 50 Shades of Grey, when she like finished filming those movies, she was like, I can truly never go lower than this. But also, I give so little shits that like.
I took down Ellen. I can ride that high forever.
Like, you know what? Like, she's like, it's whatever now. This is fine. This
hey,
is
if you
my
take down Ellen, you can live that high.
This is my life, and this is my career now.
But yeah. Anyway. Real reason for the episode.
Daredevil season 2.
Yes.
I realized
the worst one.
Yeah. So
quote unquote.
Mike had said that last time we talked about Daredevil that it was the worst of the 3 seasons. And I had only watched, I think, up to like episode 3 or 4 at that time. So I was like, I don't really know what he means by the worst because it's really not that bad.
Yeah, I mean, and to be fair, worst one is in relation to 2 great seasons.
Right.
It is still a good season of TV. It's just the worst one.
I did feel, like I said before, there was a difference in terms of pacing and storytelling between season 1 and then going into season 2. But the real thing that makes it, I guess, quote unquote, the worst is the opening of the season is like, okay, here's a very interesting story that we're going to start building about Frank Castle and his methods versus Matt's methods and who's right, who's wrong. Is Frank evil because he kills people in what, you know, the media and the police are calling like a blind rage and violence, you know what I mean? But then you delve into his backstory and trauma and blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? Which all of that was good. Also, the guy that plays Frank Castle, whose name I don't know, I've seen him in other stuff. He is really good as Frank.
It's wild that I had the name and then you were like, the guy I don't know, and it left.
Sorry.
Like I was like, yeah, it's, and then you said I don't know, and it just bam. It was like,
sorry.
oh fuck, I don't know either.
Sorry. I think he's really good. I think he does well in this role as well.
I love him too.
But then you get to, I think, episode like 5, maybe even 6, and they just decide, okay,
John Bernthal. I got there before I looked it up.
So then you get to that, and then we're like, okay, we're just gonna fuck off with Frank for like a hot minute, even though you guys want to be his defense team. Sure. Which is like super crucial and important that you do a good job, Matt. So
he does. He had them until Frank just...
I guess, but
he convinced them.
I think if Foggy had just done it himself the whole time, he would have done great. Not that he could have foreseen Frank and his shenanigans.
Like, I was like, they convinced everyone until Frank went, I fucking loved it. I would do it again.
Yeah. But anyway, so I think the introduction of Elektra and... what honestly bothers me so deeply is they introduce Elektra and it's like, okay, this is Matt's ex and she's like a little wild and crazy and maybe bloodthirsty, and Matt is obviously not into that, which is fine. I get it. You guys broke up.
But he's also still a little into it.
But he's also so fucking horny for her that I'm like, dude, for your own good, realize that this is not the move. Like the pussy cannot be that good.
It is though.
Like
Matt is the biggest whore in all of Marvel. He sleeps with everyone and anyone. He pulls gods. Like Matt gets around.
Like, it was making me actually so fucking annoyed.
And the worse it is for him, the more he's into it.
Like, it was making me so annoyed that I was like, Matt, make one fucking good choice. Just make one good choice. That's all I'm asking of you. No, I couldn't get any of that. But anyway, Elektra, she's kind of boring. I think, unfortunately, the actress, she's not given, like, literally anything. And it's weird because they give everybody else nuance to their character. Mm-hmm. Even Marcy, Foggy's ex-girlfriend, she gets...
The blonde?
Yeah, she gets nuance for her character. You know? Mm-hmm. But you're not going to give Elektra nuance, who's, like, playing a pretty major role in Matt's life right now. It just doesn't make any sense. Why would you have all these well-developed characters and then somebody who's supposed to be so important to Matt that he's willing to throw away his entire law career and his essentially entire life for her, but you make her like the depth of a cardboard box? Why?
Hey, cardboard boxes could be pretty deep.
Like, it's just it doesn't make any sense to me because her character is one of two things. She's desperately in love with Matt, and she's desperately obsessed with killing. Mm-hmm. That's all she gets. It doesn't make any sense to me. Even her like tiff with Stick is paper thin, and like they show us this flashback of her like training as a kid, and even that is basically nothing. And I'm like, I just don't understand how you guys dropped the ball so severely. But only on one character. Also, I did notice this and I was like, damn, what is going on? Because Karen this season, I'm like, how many times does one girl need to get traumatized? Like, can y'all chill out with this? And then, but at the same time, like, she's traumatized, and then we get a scene of her, like, crying at a desk, and I'm like, oh, Karen. Literally 20 seconds later, she's like, oh, back to work. Hello?
Yeah, I mean, she kind of just disassociates. Although, I will say, Elektra right now in the comics, she had a really good arc. She's also a Daredevil now.
Oh, okay.
And her costume whips.
Okay.
Yeah.
But, yeah, so I think and then it's so funny, because we have all this stuff with Elektra, which is, like,
also, Elektra, another one of those characters where she's supposed to have big hair, like Wonder Woman, and they always give straight-haired women the role. Come on.
But, yeah, so Elektra basically kind of boring. I feel like it also kind of derails the pacing and progress of the show.
Well, it's not always true. She sometimes has straight hair, but I'm being over sarcastic, and the big hair is better.
It's fine. But then when we go back to the Frank stuff, it gets good again.
Yep. Frank is the best part of season 2.
Yeah, Frank is really good. Also, I did notice this even before the whole, like, we're fighting the hand nonsense started, where I was like, this just feels like a wild fucking goose chase. Like, imagine there's literally nothing at the end, and she's just, like, fucking around with him, because I could totally see that happening.
Yeah, it's a very hand thing to do.
Because she's, like,
just fuck around with Matt.
Kind of immature, you know? But,
the hand likes just messing with Matt.
Yeah. And then I don't think they explained it in this season. Maybe they do in season 3. What was up with those fucking creepy ass, like, anemic kids? Well, they weren't anemic. They were getting their blood drained, but you understand what I'm saying.
I don't think I even know.
Okay, so Matt and Elektra, they're like snooping around the hands or Nobu's, or maybe Nobu is the hand or works for the hand. I'm not sure. He must work in association with them, right? But anyway, so they're sneaking around like a warehouse, and then they find these kids in like cages, and they have like this blood tube stuff connected to them because they're taking their blood. And they're all like super gaunt and like they haven't seen the light of day in a minute. And they're like, oh my God, we have to save these kids. So they do. And they bring the kids to the hospital, and then Claire gets in trouble for bringing them in without like notifying and doing paperwork or whatever. And then the guy's dad that like brought him to the warehouse. A guy brought them to the warehouse, Matt, that he like threatened, being like, "What's going on?" And then his son was one of the creepy kids. And so he's like, "Oh, my son in the hospital." And then the son wakes up, and then the son is creepy, and then all the kids are creepy, and the son kills the dad.
I don't remember.
I don't remember there being literally any explanation for why these kids are so fucking creepy.
The hand.
And then the ninjas come back to get the kids again. And they just like hook them up to the blood machine, like tube things. And then I don't think we see the fucking kids again. What was the point of the kids? They're in bathtubs and they're just like, "All right, thanks, bud."
I don't know. I don't remember. I don't remember that at all.
Yeah, no. I was like, why did we set up these kids to not explain them literally at all?
I think their blood is the thing that they put in the pot to resurrect Elektra.
So their blood, they were like putting chemicals into their bodies and then like letting them like, can you get blood back, if that makes sense? Like
Your body does create blood.
Right. So they were putting chemicals into them so it would go into like their new blood, and then they could like drain the new blood with the chemicals for something which I assume is going into like the big clay pot.
Yeah, I think it's like a resurrection
But
thing.
then they put Elektra in the pot, but then they don't put blood in the pot with her.
I don't know.
So
I don't remember at all.
I don't know. I have no answers. I kind of wish they just left it to Frank Castle. Like, this is the thing. I don't think this needed to be 13 episodes like season 1.
Yeah, but that's Netflix's 13 episodes. Everything's 13 episodes.
I know, which I don't get why they feel so like
It's what ruined most of the seasons.
steadfast on that kind of concept.
I mean, they've stopped since.
Right.
But it did ruin most of the seasons. Everyone was like, why do you have them fucking pigeonholed to this 13 episode thing?
Like this, it's just a little too long.
Yeah, no, I agree.
I think if they cut out basically all of the Elektra stuff, like, I get it. I think that first episode with her was cute and fun. Like,
It's just Elektra is so intrinsic to Matt.
Yeah. I guess you can't not do it.
But no one's ever done it right, so.
But they just write her like.
She's always so boring.
And that's the other thing, is she's the only one who gets it like that. Everyone else gets to be like well developed and fleshed out. And then one character, you're like, okay, post-it note of characteristics, and that's it.
Yeah.
Why? It doesn't make sense to me why you would have one character who's also supposed to be extremely important to Matt and his character development. And you're just like, nah. We'll fumble the bag on this one.
Yeah. No,
Hello?
I don't know. I don't know what that is. But she is.
Wait, we also didn't find out who was going around like killing everyone. Because after Frank gets... So he goes to prison so he can meet with Fisk. And then Fisk... Great fight. And then Fisk gets him out. And then somebody goes and shoots up the DA, which she had it coming. Let's be fucking for real. Goes and shoots up her. And then somebody else who I can't remember. And then they try to shoot Karen in her apartment, but Frank saves her. But they didn't say who it was.
Isn't it Fisk just putting hits out?
Oh, maybe.
Isn't that
But
what
why would he do it in the same style that Frank is doing it?
to frame Frank?
Him? But wasn't he saying, like, we can be useful to each other?
Yeah, but Frank said no.
But then he took his offer to
I think just to get out.
be released.
Yeah, I think just to get out.
Oh, okay.
Not because he was actually going to help him.
No, I didn't think they were going to, like, work with each other. But the way Fisk was, like, talking about it seemed like, yeah, maybe we don't see eye to eye, but this is mutually beneficial for both of us, you see? You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think I don't really remember, but
I don't know either. But
Yeah.
I don't remember them having an answer to that,
yeah, I just don't remember.
which is fine.
But yeah, I mean, everything with Frank is great. Plus Sean Berthal does a great, just fucking go off crazy, screaming.
Oh my
bits.
In that courtroom, in that scene, I was like,
I fucking loved it. I'd do it again.
he's like, y'all are trying to make me put on some act that I'm like got PTSD or something, but I don't. All right, like that's a fucking lie. I was like, holy shit. Can they just let them keep talking, like perjuring themselves as the defense attorneys?
What, you gonna stop them?
I guess.
You gonna knock them out?
I guess
You can't just like.
That's fair, but like
You can ask to have it stricken from the record, but the jury heard it regardless. So like,
I always think that's so interesting, and I wonder about this every single time I watch something, even like IRL like court scenes, where in court like somebody will say something and they'll be like, can I have that like striked from the record?
yeah, and then they're like, jury, please act like you
Like
didn't hear it.
pretend like that didn't happen. I'm like, how can you exclude information from your brain?
Yeah.
Even
Usually it's like stuff like just factually incorrect stuff. They're just like,
Right.
strike that from the record.
right.
You know, whatever. But I ain't a
But
lawyer.
certain things, I'm like, I don't know how you can.
forget, yeah.
Yeah. Especially like if it was a major outburst, you know.
Yeah, I mean, but also he did go to jail, so
Right. Of course.
like it doesn't really matter.
yeah.
He's also great in his show. Punisher is also really good.
Yeah.
Punisher season 1 and 2. It's brutal, which is great.
So-
It should be, but
so
it's brutal.
Does Punisher, I guess, like follow what Daredevil sets up, or it's like completely like fresh, if that makes sense?
I mean, it's after it's after season 2.
Okay, so it doesn't like retread his backstory.
I think it goes a little more in depth about. I think
Like
if I
his
remember
family
correctly,
and whatever?
it's him just trying to solve why it happened. You don't get the scene with him like in his house, like,
Where he burns it down?
Wait, that scene.
In his house?
Yeah. No, okay, that's in the Punisher. It's another one of those iconic like me with the guys we quoted all the time, where it's just like he's like tied to a chair and he's like, wait, no, wait, and he's just screaming.
Yeah, no, I don't think that's.
Yeah, that's in the Punisher.
In
Yeah,
because the only time we
Punisher
see
is him going and trying to figure out what caused the attack on his family.
right, because I think the only time we see him in his house in this season,
Is when he goes back.
is at the end when he goes back and he burns it down.
Yeah. No, then yeah, the Punisher show goes into his like backstory.
Gotcha.
And what's going on with him in the
Also,
present.
I don't know if this is just me, but I really enjoyed the like bond relationship interactions, whatever you want to call it, that he and Karen had together. I'm like, maybe just stop shooting so many people, and like you could like live a happy life, and Karen can just be your BFF. Like, come on, she understands you so well.
Yeah, she does. See, you like Karen.
Here's the thing.
I was right.
I like Karen. I even liked Karen in season 1.
And you were like, she's annoying.
Karen is still annoying, although I do think she's slightly less annoying in this season.
And in the next season, she gets even better.
Like, I will say she is much better in this season, and like I found her way less grating because she got a little bit smarter, thank God, because I was like, girl, you are so willing to just put yourself in like death's gaze. Chill. But maybe that's what she needed to do. She needed to like kill that guy to be like, oh, I'm good.
This isn't who I am.
This is, yeah, you know what I mean? But,
Midlife crisis over.
but also,
you know, just you one murder and you realize, oh, good.
yeah.
You know, everyone has that moment.
But also in season 3, because they kept mentioning it throughout this
For
season.
me, it was when I was 7.
Do they ever? They also didn't answer in this season about like Karen's past. I remember they super briefly mentioned it in season 1.
I don't even know if they do in 3.
About her past.
Yeah.
And then in this season, they show like she has a file at the newspaper because Ben like dug up stuff on her to like see what she was about,
Mm-hmm.
and they show this like newspaper article about some kind of like accident caused by a teen, which is heavily alluded to that Karen caused some kind of accident, right? And then we don't learn anything else. I'm like, I just want some answers, please.
I don't even know if we get it in
Stop
season 3 or not.
posing interesting information and then not giving me any.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's I don't even know if we get it in 3, but there's a lot going on in 3. So, yeah, and like season 2 is fine. There's some good fight scenes. There's also some not great fight scenes. The moment with Frank and Matt on the roof is incredible.
With the guy,
yeah, like when Matt has him like chained to the fucking water tower.
Yeah.
And that fight between them is great. The fucking like heel kick to knock him out.
Yeah.
Awesome. And the oneer though not as good as season 1 and 2. But that's sad. But season 3's sorry, not as good as season 1 and 3's. Season 3's though is on another fucking level. It is insane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe it wasn't as good because I will say, like, in this season, I didn't notice.
It's also not one take where the season 1 and 3 are.
Right. Is it like Echo where it's like trying to
like
hide?
the hidden cuts, but you could tell them.
Right. Echo was like that too.
Yeah.
That
fight was also still cool though, with Daredevil in the background.
Yeah. That fight. The thing is, like.
Oh, he had the red suit. Thank God.
You can tell they do the cuts, but it's. I feel like in this season 2, that fight where you can tell that it's not a one take. I felt like this was more obvious than the one take fight in Echo, in the warehouse.
I can't remember it well enough to compare. I just do remember that you could tell.
Yeah, I think,
but in season 3 and 1, they are one takes.
Right. I just think, and maybe because I'm going off of like season 1 and that fight choreography, I did feel like some of the choreography, for the most part, it was still just as good, fight choreography at least. But I did feel like a couple of moments, it felt like a little slow energy, if that makes sense. Like, the pace of the fight was a little bit too slow, and like the connection of movements like didn't read as well as they did in other fight scenes.
Right.
Like they were just a little bit worse.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing crazy where I was like, holy shit, what happened to like the production and the choreography for these fights?
Right.
But just a little bit worse.
Mm-hmm.
Like a slight dip in quality, which is fine. Like I don't really care that much. But I did notice it. Just, Yeah. That's like, I think that's the whole thing.
Any issues you have with 2, 3 gets rid of all of them and solves it.
I was going to say, I think that's the thing about season 2 is it's definitely a little bit worse from season 1.
Yeah.
And then all the stuff with Elektra is definitely a lot worse.
Mm-hmm.
Which I guess is technically not even Elektra's fault, or the actress that plays her, because she's been in other stuff where she is good. She just gets literally done dirty with zero material to use and go off on.
Yeah. Which is funny because of every version of Elektra I had seen live action, which, I knew would not be a good example of her.
Right.
I always like, Elektra's boring as fuck, until I read a run that was actually good, like used her well.
Right.
But yeah, no, it's definitely worse.
It's definitely worse.
And then season 3 takes place after Defenders.
Also, Matt just pisses me off the entire season. Or at least in season 1, I could get it. Like, you're trying to he was trying to straddle being, at that time, the guy in the mask, right? With the starting of his law firm, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I think the difference is there. Everything he's doing throughout season 1 is for like one consistent goal.
Mm-hmm.
And then in this season, when everything he's doing is one, not even for a consistent goal, but also he feels like extra messy. And I'm like, bro.
I think that's because of Elektra, though.
Even before Elektra, even when
Yeah, I mean, I think it's like Frank's constantly challenging him, and he doesn't know where he's like, he can't find his footing against this person that's just so different.
Right.
And then Elektra shows up, and then it just takes him off his game. He's just so distracted by her that he's just messy.
But I feel like at the end of the season, he doesn't even clean up his act. It's not like satisfying, you know?
Oh yeah, I mean, he doesn't clean up his act.
Like what's satisfying?
Defenders goes into slightly cleaning up his act, and then forces him to.
Like what's satisfying? Like I like the ending scenes of like Frank burning down his house, which get it, great, and like Karen deciding she's not going to quit the newspaper, great, you know. But Matt, I feel like he starts the season messy, and he ends the season messy. Like
it's on purpose, though. To be fair, Matt is always just fumbling life.
I guess
That's just his character.
he's just a mess.
Yeah, Matt's always a mess. He's always banging the wrong people. And again, if the woman is worse for him, he's even more into it.
Oh, also when him and Karen went on a date, I was like, Karen, fucking run. You don't need this in your life.
Oh, but I love them.
Like, I think they have great chemistry. The two actors.
Charlie Cox and Darren and Deborah Amwolf.
Yeah, I think they have great chemistry together, and they look very nice on screen together. But I'm like, Karen, you could do so much better for yourself. Like,
yeah, but a superhero.
Don't subject yourself to this nonsense.
Yeah, no, I agree. So, have you started 3 at all?
I think I watched like the cold open of season 3 for episode 1 last night, but I was so tired, and Mark wanted to watch the whole
Is that
episode.
where he's on the bed, the hospital bed or whatever?
I think so.
And he like wakes up and he's like,
and he's like,
yeah.
Yeah, so I watched that last night, but I was so tired because it was getting on to be like, I don't know, 10:30. It was like 10:30, 11 o'clock. I'm
It's
like,
better than you being like, I was just so tired. It was like 8 p.m.
No, I'm not that bad. Usually, like, I try really hard to stay awake past, like, I try really hard not to get into my bed until like 9:30. That feels reasonable.
9:30.
And then I'm asleep by 10 or 10:30.
I wish, dude. I'm like I'm better at falling asleep now, but like I usually will not get into bed until like 11.
That's so late.
And then like, yeah, but like, you know, I'm working all day, so then it's like I want to do stuff in my night. I'm
like that too, but like once it's Betty by time, like I don't care how much stuff I want to do.
This shitty world we've built where you have to spend a majority of your day doing something you potentially hate.
Yeah.
Just to then go home and then have a short amount of time to do stuff you like.
Yeah.
And then you have to go to bed and wake up and do the thing you hate again.
Exactly.
Like,
but like
we really built a really shitty society.
I'm actually so bad that once it's bedtime for me, I will, no matter what the situation is, I will either go home to go to sleep, or if I'm at someone's house, I will just fall asleep. Like there's no keeping me awake.
You were the last one at the house though for the party, for the Super Bowl.
Just because I wanted to see how the
Everyone
game ended.
else left.
Everyone else left before the game ended.
Yeah. I mean,
so,
let's be fair. We knew where it was going.
Oh,
it was rigged to begin with.
Oh my God. I think a part of me is glad that I am not invested in like basically most sports.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like I always see all this stuff about like American football being rigged and all this stuff. But I'm like, how can you even rig? But like, if you're the opposing team, like, would you even go along with rigging it? Like, what's
you get
the
money
incentive?
regardless.
How much money are you getting in comparison to winning, though?
I mean, you still make millions of dollars.
I mean, I know, but
so does it really matter?
But doesn't it? Don't you want to feel like a winner?
Well, I mean, it's like wrestling, sure, but like, there's the heel and there's the face.
But isn't wrestling like openly fake? Everything is fake. Like the personality and the costumes and all that jazz, you know what I mean?
Yeah, sure, but
like football is at least marketed to be more down to earth because you want your football
that's
stars.
just what they want you to think.
I know. Because here's the thing. I think this is the difference. One, football quarterbacks, they're usually not like the biggest, beefiest guys. They're still beefy. Don't get me wrong. But they're not like the 300-pound like linebackers. They're like, guarding. They are usually fairly handsome, and they're the face of the team, right? So you got a beefed up guy who's fairly handsome, sometimes really handsome, and the face of the team. So you want this person to be presenting himself like a really good guy. But the difference in football versus wrestling is you want all the quarterbacks to seem like they're really good guys. In wrestling, you actively have villains. You don't want one quarterback to seem like he's the fucking piece of shit quarterback.
Now, some quarterbacks are pieces of shit.
I'm sure they are. Like,
Yeah. I don't know.
but I feel like the marketing is different.
Well, yeah.
If you're,
because that's what they want you to think, Sage. And they make you, and you're trying to defend them. It's what they want you to think.
I'm sure you're right. Like, I don't fucking know shit about marketing for American football other than they want you to really like it.
Also, not very good commercials.
They're not. They're kind of corny always. But I can't really blame them.
I think the commercials nowadays try too hard. And when they're not trying too hard, they try too hard to not try hard.
I think the main problem is they're either, and I was saying this to Colin actually while we were watching the Super Bowl. Super Bowl commercials are one of two things. They're either commercials that go like this, where it's like, this is the like greatness of X, Y, and Z, and this is how it should make you feel, right? That's like the first 15 seconds if you have a 30-second slot, and then the next 15 seconds is, but this is why it's terrible, and this is why it's being destroyed. We at Coca-Cola support X, Y, and Z organization to make it better.
It's every Dove commercial.
Yeah.
Where it's like, oh, it's kids trying and failing at their sports, but they're getting back up and they're doing it. Body issues.
All young girls have body issues, but we at Dove are here to dismantle it. You know what I mean? Like, it's either
you're like, whoa, what the hell?
Yeah, so it's either those commercials or it's just completely ridiculous out-of-pocket commercials that you're like, what am I actually watching right now? Why is this an ad for this random product?
Yeah.
Those are the only two types of commercials the Super Bowl gets.
No, I agree. And we don't even get trailers anymore. We just get previews for trailers you have to look up.
That's all. But do you think that's because the ad spots are so expensive? Like,
I mean, absolutely. It's like a 4-minute trailer. You're not going to pay for that much money.
You're not going to pay, because what is it, like $7 million for 30 seconds?
I think.
Which is absolute insanity. Like, can you also look up how many people actually watch the Super Bowl live? Because is that $7 million price tag, like, really worth it? You know what I'm saying?
30 seconds is $7 million.
Oh, it's fucking disgusting. That's more money than I'll ever see in my life.
$233,333 per second.
I'm going to actually puke. Okay, wait, but how many people actually watch the Super Bowl?
If you're a 4-minute ad.
Yeah, imagine being well, aren't like most trailers 2 minutes and 30 seconds?
Kind of depends, but yeah.
I guess that's true.
But still,
that's, you're shelling out a
But like, also,
I'd
much rather watch a trailer than whatever shit was being played.
It's true. But can you look up how many people watch the Super Bowl? Because I'm trying.
This Super Bowl was the most watched ever.
Really?
I think so.
Why? Because it was like
It's Taylor Swift.
Oh, that's actually really funny. I was because
like the NFL has had the highest viewing
this past season. Yeah, I know,
like
because of Taylor Swift.
Yeah.
Because I'm just trying to think, like, is $7 million worth it? Like, that seems like too much for 30 seconds.
Was the most watched Super Bowl in history with 123 million people across all platforms.
Okay, that is a lot of people. So if you take that into account, you're paying less than technically $1. Way less than $1 per eye. Couple of cents.
That is
per viewer.
10 million more viewers than last year.
Damn. So wait, how much was it?
7 million in 30 seconds.
No, 100.
Oh, 123 million.
20. That's insane. 123 million people. You know, like people who always say like huge scale things, like your brain just cannot comprehend them.
Mm-hmm.
That's something my brain can't comprehend.
Yeah.
It is.
No, I mean, yeah, no, I get it. But yeah, so
they paid then technically it would be 17 cents per viewer.
Yeah.
Which is pretty low in comparison.
But yeah, it's something. And then if Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce ever break up, we'll see how that affects viewing.
Okay, I want you to know I have been thinking about that, not because I'm pessimistic and I want them to break up, because ultimately I really do not care. But I was thinking about the implications of if they do break up, because the NFL is benefiting so
immensely.
So much from Taylor Swift being in a relationship with Travis Kelce, because one, it's giving them so many more viewers,
which means a fuck ton more money.
Either people that want to see Taylor Swift, people that are hate watching because of Taylor Swift, or people who would watch anyway regardless of Taylor Swift. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I feel like they're gaining way more than they're losing.
Yeah.
All the people who are angry on Facebook and Twitter being like, Taylor Swift, blah, blah, blah. They're gaining way more than the number of people who are mad about it, right? But also, they're getting introduced into, like, a completely new demographic for the NFL, which is young teen girls. Mm-hmm. Not that they don't watch football to begin with, but way more, I'm sure, are interested in football because they want to see Taylor Swift on the screen. Mm-hmm. So if they break up, right, I think if they break up, Taylor Swift, literally nothing will happen to her. She will have no negative outcome from that breakup.
No, not at all. But they will lynch Travis Kelce.
That's what I was going to say. I'm so interested to see what will happen to Travis Kelce firstly.
He will be murdered in the streets.
I feel like post breakup, anything that Travis Kelce does will be fuel for canceling him, if you will.
He will be
And
murdered.
I'm so curious to see if the NFL ratings drop and if there's like I don't know if you can like negatively review a football game, but like, you know what I mean? Like, like bashing the NFL.
Yeah. No, I mean, probably. And he'll be dead.
Like
they will murder him.
There will be mobs on the streets.
Yeah.
Like,
Uh-huh.
But yeah, I'm really curious to see what will happen if they break up to Travis Kelce and the NFL.
Yeah. No, like if Taylor Swift walked up to me and was like, "Hey, want a date?" I'd probably say yes. But like also, there's a lot of baggage that comes with saying yes to that.
I was gonna say like
I don't even know if I would say yes. I feel like I'd probably just be like, nah.
I feel like
unless we keep this a secret.
Unless I think if you're not already famous, like in the public eye, and a celebrity as major as Taylor Swift somehow crosses your path and is like interested in dating you, you have to have, I think, a lot of money. Whether that's you're some kind of like banker, or you work on Wall Street, or you do property, or you know, something along those lines where you have like a pretty good amount of income yourself already. Because once you start dating this woman and it goes public, you need to hire yourself like top of the line protection detail.
Right. You can't just be
because you're gonna.
You can't just be a blue collar worker.
No. You can't be Joe Schmo from down the street who works at his local mom and pop like auto body shop.
Right.
Because you're getting sniped from the roof. All right. Becky will snipe you from her roof.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's not happening.
Have you seen the who Selena Gomez is dating?
I have. I don't know his name though.
Yeah, the guy that like.
But he's a musician?
I think he's a comedian.
Oh. I don't know why.
Or a cook.
A cook?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Good for her.
But.
She'd be eating well then.
Yeah.
If he is a cook. But yeah,
I was like, I showed this picture to Anthony and I was like, why can't that be me? handful
with
full
Selena
ramen.
Gomez.
Yeah, and I was like, bro.
Well, maybe you're just not a good enough cook, Michael. Get with the program.
No, but good for her. You know.
Yeah.
You know.
Be with whoever you want to be with.
Yeah,
That's
no.
literally fine.
Yeah, I've never heard of that guy before, but good for him.
Yeah.
Like, he's dating Selena Gomez. He's winning.
Yeah. Unless it goes like the Ariana Grande Dalton Gomez route. Because he was like a real estate agent. I mean, he had money on some level.
What, Selena Gomez's like brother?
No.
Different
Just
Gomez.
Also Gomez,
Okay.
completely unrelated.
Okay.
It's like a
you
very
went off of Selena
Yeah,
Gomez.
sorry. The reason why I bring it up is because
I mean, he was somewhat famous before.
but not.
Like, I think he has he had like 1 million followers or something. Like
He's
not Selena Gomez, but he was known.
He was known in like how like you see like popular TikTokers,
Yeah.
but they're not like famous. They're not going to events. He's like that.
Yeah.
And then he started dating Ariana Grande, and then they got married, and they had like a pretty hush-hush relationship till I guess they decided to get a divorce for whatever reason.
Mm-hmm.
Probably because she's like kind of has a track record of cheating / being like the other woman type deal, which I'm like, it's a little messy. But like, she makes really good music, and I guess like your own personal life can be a mess, but also like maybe don't.
Yeah.
Just things to consider.
Yeah. Well, I remember it was a whole thing with John Boyega and like Daisy Ridley, like before they like became famous in Star Wars. John Boyega talked about like somebody was like, "Hey, you want a love life? Find somebody before this movie comes out."
Yeah.
Like, you're not gonna find anybody.
Yeah.
Like, you find a girlfriend beforehand and don't fuck it up.
Yeah.
And he was like, and I tried, but I didn't have game.
I tried.
He's like, I didn't have game. But yeah, so like, people talk about that. They're just like, yeah, if you're gonna become famous, hopefully you have someone before you become famous. Otherwise, you're fucked.
Yeah, especially if you're gonna become like super famous, like you're in a main character in a Star Wars movie famous. Yeah. That seems like good advice.
Yeah. Anyway, thanks for watching this week's episode of the Vaguely Anime Podcast. You have 2 weeks to watch Kami-sama Kiss. So do that. Or don't. You do you. We'll see you next week for whatever it is we talk about. And don't forget to follow, check out Cat the Moonstar on Twitch. Like, comment, subscribe, leave a review, follow, and we will see you guys next week.
Bye.
Bye.